Hello everyone and welcome to day 5 of my 8 Day of Christmas series. Right now I'm in my comfy sweatshirt because I'm in my basement and it's really cold and my comfy sweatshirt is really warm. It's just a giant sweatshirt blanket. Highly recommend. Day 5, we are talking about my top 12 favorite Christmas movies. Now there's no order to these because I tried putting them in order and decided I love them all. I can't put them in an order. So, let's get into it. First movie is How the Grinch Stole Christmas, Jim Carrey edition. This is a favorite in our house. We just love to quote and laugh about this movie. I know it's not a favorite for some people because they grew up on the animated Dr. Seuss, the old animated Dr. Seuss version, and that's just the original How the Grinch Stole Christmas to them, and that is fine, but I don't know, this movie just has a place in my heart of Christmas movies. When I think of Christmas movies, this is one of the ones that comes to mind. Plus, I just find this one a lot more fun and engaging to watch than the animated movie, and also the soundtrack is it's pretty good. I definitely had the soundtrack on my iPod when I was growing up. So the next movie is Arthur's Christmas. Not Arthur the Aardvark, although that is a fabulous movie and I highly recommend it. I am talking about the 2011 animated film about Santa's youngest son going on an adventure to deliver the last present that was accidentally left behind on Santa's sleigh. And Arthur didn't want that child to go without getting a present from Santa and making them not believe. I just really love this movie. It has a different storyline, not very predictable. I played this movie when I was doing some Christmas decorating down here, and then all of a sudden my whole family was down here watching the movie. So it's very appealing to a lot of people. And it's funny. It has some good humor in there. Oh right, so the next movie, some people say that it's not an actual Christmas movie, but it is set in the Christmas season, so I would consider a Christmas movie. And that is The Holiday. There are two women, Kate Winslet and Cameron Diaz, who are heartbroken during Christmas time and just need to step away, so they decide to swap houses. Cameron Diaz lives in California and Kate Winslet is from England, so they travel halfway across the world, and what do you know? They find the love of their lives. Romantic holiday movie, not Hallmark, so not as cheesy. There's still some cheesy bits, but not as bad. This next movie is my absolute favorite movie of all time. I probably can quote every word of it, and that is It's a Wonderful Life. It's a black and white film from 1946 and tells the story about how a man gets the greatest gift of all and sees how his life has affected everyone around him. It is truly heartwarming and just really shows you that it is indeed a wonderful life. Something interesting is that this storyline started all just from a Christmas card. Philip von Doren had this short story that he's been trying to publish for months, and it's not going well for him, so he decided to kick it to the curb and make Christmas cards out of his short story. And so he sent it to 200 people. It ended up in the hands of a producer, and the rest is history. I also got to meet the youngest daughter, Zuzu, the character's name, in person. I met her when I was watching the film play on the big screen at an old movie theater, and then I got to take a picture afterwards. That was a really fun thing to do. I could just talk about this movie for hours, I love it so much. But on to the next. I actually don't have this one on DVD. It's called Shop Around the Corner, and this is another black and white movie, also starring Jimmy Stewart, who's the main guy in It's a Wonderful Life. He and this other woman are shop workers, and they do not get along at all. They butt heads all the time, but they have a pen pal who they talk to on their spare time, and they really get along with them. And it turns out that the pen pals are each other, so they don't get along in real life, but they get along in pen pals, and they don't know it yet. So it is a super cute love story, and I just got into this a couple years ago when I realized that Jimmy Stewart was the main actor in it. It was weird seeing him in a different role than It's a Wonderful Life. But it quickly climbed to the top of my list, and I watch it every year since I've seen it. So the next movie is White Christmas. This is a 1954 musical comedy. It is in color. Essentially, these two veterans, they have this singing act, and they've run into a sister act that they decided to team up with them to do a show in this small inn in Vermont. And it turns out that the owner of the inn is the guy's old commander, and they find out that this commander is not doing very good financially, so they decide to put on a little surprise reunion and hopefully bring back some foot traffic to this little inn in Vermont. It is a musical, so not everyone likes musicals, but Bing Crosby, he's a great singer. I highly recommend it. The next movie, The Polar Express, such a classic. When I first watched it, it was not my favorite, and I think the reason for that was because I didn't like the animation in it. I don't know, the people look too fake or something, I don't know. But what is interesting, and I just recently found this out this year, was that this is the first full motion capture movie. So you have these actors in motion capture suits and all these markers around them, and then they have cameras all over the place, and they basically recreate the bodies and the facial features from these actors and then animate them to become characters. This was a movie that came out in 2004. Motion capture is pretty young at that stage. The main guy, his name is Hero Boy. He's voiced by Daryl Sabara, I believe that's his name. And then the body was recreated from Josh Hutcherson. Anyways, I just really love this movie now. I just love the storyline. There's a quote in the movie, "The true spirit of Christmas lies within your heart." And I think that is a good message to get across to children and to adults. Another fun thing, my mom, sister, and I actually went on a recreation of the Polar Express in downtown Chicago a couple years ago. They had the staff sing Hot Chocolate song to us, and we're on a train. It was a lot of fun. The next one is a movie that also used motion capture, and that is Disney's A Christmas Carol. This came out 5 years after the Polar Express, so I think the motion capture equipment and quality of everything just increased over the last 5 years, because this one I feel did a fabulous job of recreating people's facial features. They did a lot of you can watch it behind the scenes. They did a lot of filming of the facial features, which I don't think the Polar Express did as well as this one. The characters didn't seem as animated. I also like that it stayed very true to the novel by Charles Dickens. Usually I'm not a fan of A Christmas Carol as a movie. I really like it better as a play, but I did really enjoy watching this film, and it really captures the transitions that Scrooge goes through in between the spirits and how he's flying through time. And then I also think it does a great job of capturing Scrooge's transition of becoming a better person. I know a lot of people felt negative towards it because they said it was really scary for little kids, which there are some frightening scenes in it, but I think it shows what a good job that the animators did to want to capture that kind of feeling. That leads me into the next movie, which is The Man Who Invented Christmas. I mentioned this in the Day 3 video. This just tells the story about how Charles Dickens goes through the process of writing A Christmas Carol in just 6 weeks. It shows how the book resembles his childhood, and also how he wants to see mankind treat each other. It also gives you a little insight about how his mind worked when he was writing, and how he came up with different characters and where he got his inspiration. This movie was released in 2017, and I probably watched it 2 or 3 times a year since then. I just really, really love this movie. I think I watched it in July. It gets me excited for the Christmas season because I know that the Christmas Carol is going to come up. Very interesting, and you learn a lot of facts every time you watch it. So one of those kind of movies. The next one is A Year Without Santa Claus. This is a stop motion movie. It is probably my favorite stop motion. There are some songs in it. I like the songs better in that one than the rest. Basically the premise is that Santa comes down with a cold, and he doesn't want to deliver presents because he doesn't think anyone believes in him anymore, so no one's going to care that he didn't come. And then Mrs. Claus is like, no, sweetie, you're going to change your mind. So her and some elves go on a mission to change Santa's mind. Alright, on to the next one. So, this movie made me believe in Santa Claus every single year. Still does. It is The Santa Claus. Tim Allen is brilliant in this movie. I like to think of it not as a coming-of-age movie, but a coming-of-Santa movie. The main character, Scott Calvin, denies that he is Santa Claus for the whole movie, but his son does not give up on him. He believes in him the whole time. He's trying to tell him so, and he makes his dad believe as well. This is also a series that has 2 other movies. What I like about this series is the cast stays the same for all 3 of them. It was filmed in 1994, and then Santa Claus 2 was filmed 8 years later. So like the son, he's 8 here, and then he's 16 in the next movie. Like, crazy. I think they should make a Santa Claus 4 about how the son takes over the family business. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. And then my last favorite movie, this is a Netflix original movie called Klaus. I absolutely love this movie. IMDb website says it the best: a simple act of kindness always sparks another, even in a frozen, faraway place. When Smearensburg's new postman, Jesper, befriends toymaker Klaus, their gifts melt an old-age feud and delivers a sleigh full of holiday traditions. This is just a super cute movie. It's an animated movie, came out last year. Very heartwarming. It just shows what a little good can do. And I think that's a lesson that everyone needs to learn. And this next one is a bonus mention. It is not a movie. It is actually a radio show from 1937. And it's called The Cinnamon Bear. And it would air for 6 weeks in between Thanksgiving and Christmas for 6 days a week. The episodes are 10 minutes long each. And it just tells the story about how these twins, Judy and Jimmy, go on an adventure with their new friends, Patty O'Cinnamon and the quite crazy quilt dragon, through Maryland to find their lost silver star. They go through ups and downs. There's just a lot of difficulties that they go through. My family listens to this every single year when we are taking a road trip to see extended family. What I like about this is that you are forced to create this unique world all with your own imagination, because obviously there's nothing to watch. And it's so weird to think that like my Mavyland is different than my brother's Mavyland. My family did go see a airing, I don't know what to call it, of this cast recording the script, and then we watched them do it basically. And what was cool was that they had the person doing all the sound effects in the background too, so you could see them doing those sound effects, which is pretty awesome. So you can listen to this, you can purchase it as a DVD set, or if you have Apple Music, I was listening to it on Apple Music the other day. Alright, so that is all I have. I hope that this has inspired you to, if not watch all, then at least one or some of these movies. Comment below what your holiday favorite movie is. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for these 6.